what is it like launching a book now in the time of quarantine?
Well, it's really, it's very sad. The thing is, as a writer, you produce a book with all the people who are working to make it beautiful and to do things like on the, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a film strip on the back spine of this book. Little details like that, they're amazing. Okay, so all this effort goes into making this amazing thing. And you let go of it maturely, as one must, because as soon as it's out there, it's out of your hands. But you let go of it only the same way that you let go of your children when they go off to college or out in the world, which is to say that you still hope very much that they do okay, they find their way and all the rest. And so I always feel this great sense of responsibility for the poor book. I want the poor book to be okay. And of course, to emerge into the world at a time when when all the bookstores are closed and the libraries are closed. And of course, the libraries are open online and doing amazing things there. And many of the little independent bookstores I love are online and selling things online. But of course, that's not the same thing as people being able to go into a space and browse and pick it up and look and see and decide whether they like it or not. So it is one of those, I don't think there's a bright side to coming out during the apocalypse. But what can you do? I mean, these things happen. I had something like 9 events set up. I'm an introvert, so I'm shy. So it was scary for me to reach out and set things up. And I was very proud of the way I had done it, but they all went poof. So
what things have you found other than appearing on this amazing podcast? Obviously, all you need really. But other than that, what things have you found to do to promote the book?
So people started saying, "Oh, Anne, could you make a little video?" So I made a little video about the historical research that went into Daring Darleen, and I made a book trailer that I really am proud of because it has a sort of old-timey feel to it. It looks sort of like a silent movie, but has little splashes of color in it. And then I'm going to be a participant in the Everywhere Book Fest in my future, your future, but the past for whoever's watching us on the podcast. That's May 1st, May 2nd, so the end of what is the current week for us. And that'll be fun. I'm on a panel with Sayantani Dasgupta and Jay Anderson Coates, and we're talking about science versus magic in our books, and we have a duel going on, so that was fun. But that, of course, takes so much more work than doing something live. I mean, because as you know very well, the thing about doing things that you record is that you have to kind of know what you're doing. Then there's always a lot of editing that comes into it, and it's not easy. And even though I teach film, I'm not a filmmaker, so I teach film history. So editing and all that, I have an idea. I have sort of a high bar that I couldn't possibly reach, and that I kind of know what it should look like if it were good. But actually doing it myself turns out to be a real skill set that I don't have. So it takes an enormous amount of work for me to produce something that looks like it was made by, squirrels with twigs or something. So there are things going online. And I think, another thing that I was going to be doing was the Bay Area Book Fest. And I think that they're going to be putting some things online as well. And there are other events that, again, are saying, "Oh, we'll do something online." But it's not the same as being in rooms with people who love reading. And actually, I'm just sorry also that I didn't get to do my traditional BookSync book launch party I always think of a good cookie to bake. That's again, that's not my skill set either. So I'm not saying that these cookies are absolutely delicious, but they are traditional. And I always try to find a theme that would go with whatever the book was. And so this time I was like, got it. This one is super easy. I can just do rectangular cookies and they will look like frames of a film. I'll put the little sprocket holes in frosting on the side. And then I can do my favorite frame. Again, you will not probably be able to see it. Can you see it with the 3 exclamation points?
Sure.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I can do that. Even I can frost 3 exclamation points. And there you go. So that was that. I was looking forward to that. But those cookies have
cookies and now you won't have to share them. So bonus.
Now we can't even find flour, so I can't make the cookies. But I'm hoping that at some point I'll have like a belated, just as my kids who are graduating from college with no graduation ceremony are hoping that they'll get to do one later. I'm hoping that I'll be able to do a kind of after the fact, book launch, time machine book launch, whenever we emerge from our houses again and dance in the streets.
Yeah, no, we'll have a solid week of never coming home, just out.
Except I don't think it's going to work that way. At least the messages I'm getting from time machines suggest it's not going to be quite. There isn't going to be one moment where we say, "Hooray, hooray, hooray, we're out." So we'll see. But maybe in a year, I could have a kind of a year later book party.
No, I'm struggling desperately to try to put some optimistic spin on a situation for which there really isn't one. But the alternative is just to sink down and go, "Oh Lord, take me now." That's not helpful.
Well, reading is still important. Stories are still important. Books are still important. And this particular apocalypse is not going to last forever. So, in a couple years, people will be back to bookstores, and before that, I certainly hope. But this is not forever. This is just a hard period. But the books that I write often are about. They're set in times that are difficult, that are hard. In Cloud and Wallfish, which is the one set in East Germany in 1989, the main character realizes that he's living in history, and that's actually not that much fun when you find yourself living in history. It's often pretty hard. And so I would say to kids when I visit schools, we're all living in history right now. And I was saying that even before the virus hit.
Oh, sure. Last years, we've all been living in an incredible period of American history.
Yes, we are. It's busy.
Assuming there is a presidency after this, and I'm no longer convinced that's such a swell idea, because if this can happen again, maybe we need to find a new system. But assuming that we can say, well, yeah, no, I was there for the worst that the presidency had to offer. I remember living through that. There's my optimistic spin. All of us authors will be able to write much more authentically about our characters living through hard times. That's the spit shine I've got for it.
I think so. It probably changes the way that we read books and think about things. I know it changes it for me. I keep reading these books and I'm like, oh gosh, they're playing together, they're going places together, or did they just hug each other in that book, and things like this, because suddenly you're aware of social distancing rules, even for fictional characters living in a time that is not this one.
Don't shake hands, you'll all die. Oh no.
Yeah, don't shake hands. Don't touch things. As my kids said about our dog, poor thing, she doesn't realize she's a surface because she keeps wanting to go up and say hello to people. And, she's a surface. So we haul her back.